Oh yeah, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the first ever episode of Lost in the Midcard podcast. This is the podcast for those fans of Zack Ryder, those fans of Kofi Kingston, all those mid-carders across the nation. My name is Jeremy, aka JB Huskers on Twitter, and also my co-host with me on this show each and every week on Monday morning is Matt at Raw F Showtime on Twitter. Matt, how you feeling after Roman Reigns won the Rumble?
Man, I don't know how to feel because I was really enjoying that show. Until Daniel Bryan got thrown out, and then it just felt like one gigantic downward spiral from there.
It always baffles me what is going through Vince's mind as to what he thinks is best for business. I mean, he's clearly out of touch with the WWE universe, and this just proved it tonight. He just repeated Batista all over again, and I don't know.
I'm so sorry to cut you off. Go for it.
Go ahead.
Here's the problem. I honestly think it was even worse than last year. and hear me out on this. There were a bunch, unlike last year. Like everybody knew Batista was winning, especially since Daniel Bryan wasn't involved. Everybody knew Batista was winning. There was nobody with an outside chance that you actually thought, you know what, this guy could do it. This guy has the momentum. This guy could go and headline WrestleMania. But this year there were people. There were chances. Yeah. You had the dark horses in Ziggler and Ambrose. You had Daniel Bryan. You had people that the fans actually believed in. I mean, everybody heard the rumblings that Reigns was going to win the Rumble. But there was such a backing of those three guys that, you kind of thought, you know what, maybe WWE is going to do the smart thing this time. Maybe they learned from last year. But instead, we got Ziggler eliminated in like 2 minutes. He looked like a jobber. They did, Dean, he was in there for a while, but he never looked strong at any point. And Daniel Bryan was eliminated in one of the least fanfare type ways I've ever seen.
Yeah, that was kind of surprising for him to go that early. But I mean, like I said in my prediction, I just didn't think it was. I thought it was too early to trust Bryan, even though the comeback story would have been amazing. And I did write an article about 10 reasons why Daniel Bryan should win the Royal Rumble. But I did not. I honestly didn't think he would go out that early. I mean, then when Bray Wyatt got eliminated, that just kind of cheapened everything Bray did up until then, because Bray was looking so dominant, and then
Bray got tossed out looking like a jabron too.
Yeah, and he threw out Daniel Bryan, who was one of the favorites, and so Roman Reigns winning the Rumble. I mean, I don't know. I mean, unless they can turn him heel and make Brock a face, which can happen.
Man, I don't see them doing that, man.
Yeah, I mean, that's Vince's voice, so it's just like John Cena. They're never going to probably turn him heel. Just wait for him to start wearing wristbands and bringing towels to the ring.
And here's my main issue with it. We don't even, if Brock doesn't sign a new deal like before WrestleMania 32 and we don't hear about it, we already know who's winning the match.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no doubt. I could go into the triple threat match at 30 last year, and there was some doubt that maybe they wouldn't do the right thing. And maybe they were going to go forward with the plan and put the title on Batista, but they put Bryan in there to make sure the pay-per-view wasn't sabotaged. But if Brock doesn't resign like beforehand, and you'll hear beforehand if the dude's re-signed a new deal or not.
Yeah, exactly. So now imagine this. Imagine if Seth Rollins cashes in his Money in the Bank, hell, maybe even tomorrow night on Raw. Imagine this. We get a triple threat for the World Heavyweight Championship with the 3 Shield members. How would that be, though?
Well, I thought at some point when the 4 of them were left, I'm like, all right, the only way to save this is if they get rid of Kane and Big Show and they start brawling it and they start brawling together and they eliminate each other at the same time. Pull the Bret Hart Lex Luger finish.
Yeah.
And I was like, if they both go over at the same time, they can't decide who wins. The controversy rolls over to Raw. And, it could have been Rollins, Reigns, and Ambrose in a triple threat at Mania. And at that point, anybody could have won. We all know Reigns is the chosen one. And don't get me wrong, I don't want anybody listening to this right now thinking that I have something against Roman Reigns.
No.
I don't. I actually like Roman Reigns. But I don't think it's smart to force feed him down people's throats.
Yeah, and that's why
before they're ready to have it right now.
Yeah, and that's why the Philly crowd booed, is because he's been forced down our throats. I like Roman Reigns a lot myself, and obviously it's just he hasn't evolved to where he should be at this point. If he would have evolved with after his Survivor Series appearance and after his Royal Rumble appearance last year, if he would have evolved into that superstar that has it, we would have no problem talking about it right now. But he came back from injury and he basically didn't really impress. About the only impressive moment he's had since he came back from injury is his match with Seth Rollins. That was a great match, but that could have been more on with Seth Rollins carrying the match too. You never know. His mic skills haven't improved. Vince is writing his lines and trying to make him into some kind of jokester, and that looked really fucking stupid.
They're trying to make him John Cena Jr.
Yeah, and that's
a surefire way to get the crowd to turn against you.
Yeah, the cheesy shit he was saying to the Big Show a couple weeks ago on Raw. That was a completely 100% scripted promo by Vince McMahon, and it looks so stupid. It looks so fucking stupid.
Suffering succotash, son.
Now, I didn't watch that SmackDown, so I'm kind of glad. I'm just going off of the Raw. I read about the old Daffy Duck line. Thank God I didn't watch that episode of SmackDown, or I would have probably be even more incensed. But Jesus. Anyways, we'll go back to the Rumble here in a little bit. But why don't we go ahead and just recap what happened in the Rumble? Because the whole night. Because the Rumble itself. We had some pretty good matches, and I think Teddy Long wrote the first half of the Royal Rumble because we started off with 4 tag team matches.
Tag match, player.
Oh, holla, holla, holla. But the funny thing is, Teddy Long was trending on Twitter.
That's awesome.
This one guy, the WWE put a tweet out saying all the current trends on Twitter, and this one kid's like, why the hell is Teddy Long trending on Twitter? So I had to educate him. I go, that's because the first 4 matches were tag matches, son.
Devon trended on Twitter tonight, and WWE actually acknowledged it, which I found to be odd since they couldn't even bring the poor guy into the Rumble to have a freaking spot and had to use R-Truth instead.
Yeah, no kidding. Well, we'll definitely talk about that once we get to the match. So let's first start off with the pre-show. Probably one of the better pre-show matches in a while. The New Day come out with Xavier Woods injured. I think an ankle injury or something like that.
Yeah, he mentioned on Twitter last weekend he had some sort of ankle injury, so I guess he just wasn't cleared in time because this was originally scheduled to be a 6-man elimination match, and it was changed to just a regular tag team bout.
Well, the great thing about that just being a regular tag team bout is the fact that we got to see Adam Rose in a brass ring club shirt that mimics the Bullet Club shirts. Adam Rose. I don't know if Adam Rose belongs in the brass ring club just yet, but I know Tyson Kidd and Cesaro definitely do.
But here's the problem. And here's something Vince and company should have realized from the very beginning of this show. That crowd for the opening contest for New Day versus Kidd and Cesaro, the New Day was heel, and Kidd and Cesaro were the faces to that Philadelphia crowd.
Oh yeah.
And honestly, at that point, Vince and Triple H should have looked at each other and been like, we're in trouble.
Well, yeah, exactly. That's where they should have did a quick rewrite on the Rumble. But I think the New Day is purposely being overly annoying and positive, just because there is going to be that heel turn that we kind of were thinking these guys were going to start off at when Xavier Woods kind of came out several months back on a Raw and got in Kofi and Big E's faces. I think this is going to turn into kind of a Nation of Domination kind of religious spin on the Nation of Domination. I think that is eventually where this is going. I think they know that this is cheesy, over the top, and the crowd's going to hate it. I think they know that. And they know that it's Philly. Cesaro's going to get cheered. Kid got cheered, which is good to hear, because, Philly knows they're wrestling, and to have two good talents like Kid and Cesaro getting cheered like that, Kid with the roll-up win, it was actually a pretty good tag team match, and definitely a good showcase for Tyson Kidd tonight.
Oh, no, the tag match was great. I mean, it was a great way to start off the show. I enjoyed it a lot. I didn't really have any complaints about it, but my big takeaway from that match is the way the crowd set the tone for how the evening was going to go. And yeah. I knew it. I'm like, man, WWE, you guys better tread lightly tonight, because this is one crowd you're not going to want to mess with.
Yeah, and they should have known better, with that, because it's Philly. But yeah, they should have known a lot better that this is going to go the way it was all night. But Kid and Cesaro get a win there. I think they are probably going to be up next for the Usos at Fastlane, a ridiculously stupid pay-per-view name, but
it's the Fastlane to WrestleMania, brother.
Yeah, but yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
But Kid and Cesaro, chance at the tag team champs, that's definitely best for business in my book. All right. Right after that, we got our second of 4 tag team matches in a row. The Ascension making their pay-per-view debut against the New Age Outlaws, who a year ago won the tag team titles for their 6th reign. And Billy Gunn and Road Dogg still can bring it, can't they?
I mean, the match was good. I enjoyed it for what it was, but honestly, after what they did to the Ascension on Monday, this should have been like a 2-minute squash.
Yeah.
Like, I think the Ascension should have came out in a rage, and I think they should have just dismantled the Outlaws.
The right team won it.
Oh, no, absolutely. The right team won. If you want to have any hope for these guys whatsoever, the right team won. But yeah. I felt like the Outlaws just got way too much in. And if we're supposed to buy these guys like a modern-day Legion of Doom, they surely didn't show that tonight.
No, but I mean, it was only a 5-minute, or I think it was a 6-minute match, so yeah, a little longer than expected. But do you like the Ascension?
I don't hate them.
Yeah, I like
them. But I mean, I don't like them either.
Well, I like them as much. I mean, I wrote an article on What Culture shortly after their debut, or right before their debut, about 10 things they should do with the Ascension in 2015. I mean,
that was beating the New Age Outlaws in that list.
No, but actually, at this point in the year, I had them giving the Usos a beatdown after they won their tag team title match.
Honestly, that's how they should have debuted.
Yeah. Well, I didn't have them
coming out and facing Miz and Mizdow. They should have came right when the Usos were doing the celebration promo after winning the titles back. And that's how the Ascension should have debuted. They should have came out and just clobbered them from behind and laid them out.
Yeah, well, that wasn't that was like that was maybe my third thing on the list. The first one was what actually they did, feed them jobbers, kind of like, what they've done with Ryback in the past and what they've done with a lot of NXT guys like Baron Corbin. I think feeding a powerhouse jobbers to start out with is kind of a good way to introduce them. And so they did do that, and then, they got the win against the Outlaws here, so it'll be interesting to see kind of where they go from here. I like the Ascension, that's why I wrote the article, because I watched NXT, I believed in them then. The match they put on with Hideo Itami and Finn Balor was amazing and showed the kind of tag team nuances that these two guys, Connor and Victor, have, and so the future is definitely great for them.
I think the verdict's still out. I'm not necessarily buying that the future's bright for the Ascension.
Yeah, well, it's kind of tough. The crowd is not really taken to them at all.
Not yet. Yeah.
But they don't promote NXT either, so not too many people noticed. Speaking of NXT, did you see the blue pants sign out there in the crowd tonight?
I did. I was so, honestly, I know we keep jumping back to the Rumble. I was so disappointed there were no NXT guys in the Rumble.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, not even one person.
Yeah, I was very disappointed in that too. But we'll get into that probably a little later on as well. But moving on, the Usos defeat Miz and Mizdow. Not really surprised. This match itself wasn't really too much. Just mainly Miz keeping Mizdow out and pissing off the Philly fans. But the Usos retain. We didn't get a full heel turn from Miz and Mizdow. We didn't get a Mizdow throwing Miz over the top rope either. So
I was shocked by both things, actually. I don't even know if I would consider, because I think Mizdow has to be the one to say enough with Miz.
Yeah.
And I think that's more of like a face turn for him than it's a heel turn. But yeah, I expected them to implode tonight, and I guess they kind of did. But I really expected Mizdow to throw out Miz out of the Rumble, I was expecting Miz to get thrown out, and Miz to be like, "All right, you're my stunt double, eliminate yourself."
Yeah.
And he doesn't, and he keeps fighting, and he makes Miz angry. I was expecting something like that, and we didn't get any of it.
No, that's another example. I mean, the Philly crowd would have went nuts for that. And Vince, I don't know what he must still like the jokes of a stunt double. I mean, it's kind of funny, but it's getting really old watching it during matches.
I feel like it's about done. Like, I think the scenes of tonight painted the picture that it's about done. But I mean, the problem is it's not a WrestleMania feud. Could you see Miz versus Mizdow at WrestleMania?
No, but I think it's probably trending that way.
That's more of a fast lane match.
Yeah, but I don't know. I mean, I
guess it could work. I don't.
The card's usually bigger at WrestleMania.
You're right.
So it could be an 8-minute match for Mizdow to get over.
But I already feel like we're getting the Dust Brother battle like 3 years too late at WrestleMania this year. So I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, they definitely should have pulled the trigger on that split tonight, but oh well. The fourth of 4 tag team matches in a row occurred with the Bella Twins defeating Paige and Natalya. I don't really have anything to add on that match.
I enjoyed it. It was good for what it was. I feel like the finish was rushed, and they didn't have time to let Nikki hit her finisher, which I just thought was kind of ridiculous. Like, she hits her signature, and it's like, all right, I'm going to pin him now.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, you couldn't have given them an extra minute to at least hit her finisher and end this?
Well,
it just felt like an awkward finish to it was a relatively good match. I was okay with it.
The Divas are clearly an afterthought, and that's what it felt like to me. I just couldn't get excited for it at all in that match. And it
was a thrown together match. I mean, if you're not a fan of Divas wrestling, you're not going to care. I enjoy the Divas wrestling. I think the talent that they have down in NXT right now is going to change, the way people look at women's wrestling over the next couple of years.
Well, I hope so, because I'm a fan of NXT women's wrestling. I'm just not a fan of Divas wrestling right now, because it is so, you get 3 minutes, not enough time to really care. They tie Total Divas into it way too much, and so it just gets more annoying and not exciting. It's not exciting, and then it's annoying when they tie in Total Divas so much into it. So that now.
It comes down to Triple H knows how to book women, and Vince doesn't.
Yeah.
But at the same token, Vince doesn't know how to book a whole lot of anything nowadays, does he?
Well, no, he's proven that quite often.
I know what I'm doing, pal. I'm not out of touch.
Ah, damn it, I know what I'm doing.
You stupid fans, you don't like Dolph Ziggler. What kind of name is Dolph Ziggler?
Yeah, look what he did to Charlotte in her debut. I mean, she loses on, wasn't it a fucking roll-up?
2 minutes.
It was like the roll-up of doom?
Yeah, it was awful.
There was like a running, at least almost a month and a half stretch where every week the Divas match would end in a roll-up. Yeah, it's pitiful. But we go to the highlight of the night.
Oh, absolutely. Stole the show.
The triple threat match. WWE World Heavyweight Championship, Brock Lesnar defending against John Cena. And Seth Rollins' match of the night by far. I believe it got about 23 minutes, and it never let up.
Dude, it's already a match of the year candidate for 2015.
It is.
I mean, already. I mean, we're not even a month into the year, and we already have, match of the year candidates, with that triple threat match. From beginning to end, it was awesome. I had no idea who was going to win. It kept me guessing, and man, it was awesome. It
awesome. Never let up. Foot was on the gas for the first 12 minutes, and maybe it slowed down a little bit, but God, the whole thing, it just never seemed to let up at all, and it was just truly amazing. There's so much to talk about, like Seth Rollins jumping off the top rope and Brock catching him into an F5. Now, Rollins isn't a bigger guy, but he isn't a tiny guy either.
No, he's not as tiny as people think he is.
No, and so Brock catching him like that, I mean, he did stumble a little bit, but he kept his balance and delivered that F5. Truly amazing. And then Rollins going off the top, driving an elbow through Lesnar, through the Spanish announce table, which once again goes in defeat. I'm going to lobby for the Spanish announce table to be in the Hall of Fame class of 2015. Do it, WWE. Come on. You have fucking Drew Carey in the Hall of Fame. Put the Spanish announce table in.
Yeah.
John Cena gives 3 AAs to Lesnar. He keeps getting up from him, which was freaking awesome. He no-selling the AAs.
It felt like a Ring of Honor spot. I mean, it really did. Somebody tweeted it on my timeline. I'm like, yeah, it's exactly what it reminded me of. It reminded me of like a Ring of Honor spot where somebody takes like 10 super kicks in a row, and doesn't sell any of them. That's what the Triple AA. That's what it reminded me of. I felt like it was a Ring of Honor spot.
Well, it was interesting though because it
was cool, dude. It was cool as hell, but it was totally a Ring of Honor spot. I can totally see ROH doing something like that.
And finally, we get Brock Lesnar just after. What the hell did Seth Rollins do off the top rope there? That looked like a 450 Green Arrow moonsault combined.
Man, I don't know what it was, but it was dope.
Holy shit! I don't know what that was.
It was a dope looking splash. Let's just call it what it is.
I mean, he looks like he's going up for the moonsault. Then he does a couple of twists and flips in the air, and then lands like a 450 splash. And I'm like, holy shit, what was that? And then Brock Lesnar, being attended to by the doctors, came in out of nowhere and pulled off Rollins and gave him the F5, and Brock walks out as the champion.
And nobody looked weak.
No.
Nobody in that match looked weak. I don't want to hear anybody complaining that Rollins was the one who took the count or anything like that. Everybody left that match looking better afterwards than they did going in.
Yeah,
all
exactly.
3 guys. And I mean, that's the way booking is supposed to work.
Yeah, exactly.
And honestly, I'm not a big advocate of, the Royal Rumble not closing the Royal Rumble pay-per-view. And I mean, I know the world title match has closed the show over the years and the Rumble match didn't. Tonight is a perfect example. The world title match should have closed the show.
Yeah.
And maybe they could have sent that crowd home a little bit happier.
I mean, when you look through history, actually, the Royal Rumble match is not closed that much, but it has lately.
Yeah.
I think the last
I'm always annoyed when it doesn't close the show.
Yeah.
So I was happy when the title match was on before it. But after it was over, I was just thinking, man, they got their work cut out for them in this main event, man. Because they came out and stole the freaking show.
I thought there was going to be like a cooler match in between because it was still it was only about 8:30, so I figured there was going to be a cooler match in between those.
Yeah, somebody asked me online. They're like, "Oh, what? There's no way these 2 matches are going to get the final 2 hours of the show." I'm like, "Oh, maybe they'll do a segment involving The Rock between the 2 matches." You know, I just figured, there'll be something, but no, man, from bang bang right into the other. They just went right to the main event. And I know we're going to talk about the main event now. So
the main event, Royal Rumble. Let's go down entrant by entrant and kind of talk about some of these guys. Number 1 entry, The Miz, and I wrote an article of great 1 versus 2 matchups for this year's Royal Rumble, and one of them was, of course, Miz and Mizdow. So I thought, oh, all right, we're going to get Miz and Mizdow right away. No, we get R-Truth. I mean, we've had, in that article I wrote, I looked it up, and the last 7 years, it's been a great 1-2 matchup, and, well, this kind of broke that this year, though.
Yeah, I sent it out on Twitter, right as the bell rang. I'm like, this might be the most anticlimactic 1-2 entrant in the Royal Rumble in recent memory.
Yeah, I mean, R-Truth hasn't done anything of note in a long, long time, so that's a bummer. I mean, anybody solid to wrestle with the Miz would have been great, and obviously Mizdow would have been the top of the charts for that one, but a little disappointing for R-Truth to come in at number 2.
Dude, they used him as Devon.
Yeah.
And I think, honestly, that should be more insulting to him than anything else.
The number 3 entrant, the biggest surprise of the night.
Absolutely.
Well, I don't know if it was the biggest surprise because a lot of us called it because it was in Philly and these guys are free agents. But Bubba Ray Dudley returns, and he also looks like he returned to his Bubba Ray Dudley weight compared to when he was Bully Ray in TNA. But still,
I think he was wearing some padding.
Maybe.
I think he was wearing some padding because he's not that big. I mean, we just saw him on TV recently. There's no way dating Velvet Sky he put on that much weight in the last 2 months. I think the man was wearing some padding for the gimmick. It was. She great.
Definitely keeps him. She probably keeps him exercise, so that's probably the truth.
Yeah, it was great. It was my favorite surprise of the Rumble.
Yeah, that was a good wow right away too. Number 3, Bubba lasted a little while, but obviously he's not going to win the Royal Rumble, so he eventually gets tossed out. Number 4, Luke Harper. Number 5, Bray Wyatt, which was pretty cool to see Luke Harper and Bray Wyatt kind of do a little bit of domination early on in the Rumble. Bray Wyatt definitely the most impressive guy early on in the Rumble with about 5 or 6 eliminations.
Yeah, I mean they're keeping him strong for his rumored match with the Undertaker.
Yep.
You know, in WrestleMania, you gotta if you're facing the Undertaker at Mania, you're gonna look strong. You know, going into that match.
They did the right thing with Bray Wyatt outside of probably the elimination because that was really, really unceremonious.
I really feel like this Rumble was a tale of 2 halves.
Yeah.
Like the first half of the Rumble, I was super excited. You know, I thought they had some really entertaining spots. I thought the stare downs and the matchups that they delivered were really, really cool. And as soon as Bryan got eliminated, it's like, there ends the good half of the Rumble. Here's the second half of the Rumble. We guarantee you're going to hate.
Yeah, exactly.
And
number 6 was Curtis Axel, who didn't even get in the match.
Isn't he going to WrestleMania?
Curtis Axel never did. He didn't get eliminated.
Michael Cole said, "Hey, Eric Rowan's not really taking his spot." So Michael Cole, since he didn't really take his spot, doesn't that mean Curtis Axel hasn't been eliminated from the Royal Rumble yet?
Yeah, did Roman Reigns go over the top rope when he exited the ring after celebrating? If he did, then Curtis Axel's the winner.
It would be hilarious.
Eric Rowan attacks Curtis Axel, so Axel didn't even get in the match. But I mean, there's been many people that have not gotten in the match before. Spike Dudley, I think. Oh God, there's a couple others in the past. So obviously, Curtis Axel is written off as a DNP for that one. Number 7, we got another surprise, the Boogeyman.
Which was fun while it lasted. I thought who's the freakier guy, you know, and the creep out contest they were going back and forth with each other. I thought it was funny while it lasted.
Yeah, it was great.
It didn't last very long, but it was good. It was good for what it was.
Just imagine if the Boogeyman was a good wrestler. How that gimmick probably would have taken off if he was actually a good wrestler.
Yeah, but there's several people that aren't good wrestlers that get pushes.
Number 8, we got a guy that has a title, but it's at NXT, so the WWE doesn't recognize it. Sin Cara. He's a tag team champion down in NXT with Kalisto. Yeah, I just had a brain fart there. But yeah, obviously NXT doesn't matter to the WWE apparently, so we don't even get to
Not to Vince. It doesn't exist.
Sin Cara did impress me on Raw against Bad News Barrett, though, for the Intercontinental title. When he did that little...
actually SmackDown.
Oh, was it SmackDown? Oh, no, because he beat him on SmackDown.
Yeah, and then they rematched for the title on the first Thursday Night SmackDown.
Oh, was it? Okay. Yep. But he did this like little...
WWE does WWE does too much programming every week. It's hard to keep track.
Yeah. We did this thing, Barrett laid on the ground, and he picked him up, deadlifted him up, and powered him down. That was kind of a cool move, probably the coolest thing I've seen from Sin Cara in a while. But, yeah, obviously we know he's not going to be a big factor. Number 9, another surprise return, Zack Ryder.
I was pumped.
Returning from injury.
I was
pumped. Yes, I was. He got some offense on Bray Wyatt.
He got some offense in. He got love from the crowd.
Yeah.
And you really can't ask for anything more than that. I mean, Philly gave him respect. He looked good. He got some spots in. He wasn't, eliminated in like 5 seconds. Mm-hmm. And, hopefully that leads to good things for the guy. Because, man, there's not many more, passionate people about this industry that aren't getting any love for management than Zack Ryder.
Yeah. Well, there was one guy that had a lot of passion for the industry, and Justin Roberts, and, well, you see where he's at now.
True story, bro.
But Zack Ryder didn't last too long, but he did make a good impression, especially with the Philly crowd. He's a young guy, so there's still time for him, so we'll have to see where it goes. Number 10, everybody's favorite, Daniel Bryan, entering the Rumble. We get to see a stare down of Bray Wyatt and Daniel Bryan, because Bray Wyatt has eliminated everybody up until number 10 with Daniel Bryan. And we get a little rematch from last year's Royal Rumble, which was a phenomenal match between Bray Wyatt and Daniel Bryan. So we get a good little bit of offense between those two. And then at number 11, we get Fandango.
Yeah.
And
I like
him. I like him. I just don't like he needs a gimmick.
We could have had an NXT guy take his spot.
Oh, well, we could have had an NXT guy take Boogeyman's spot, too. But
nah, I like the NXT guy could have taken Titus O'Neil's spot.
Well, there were
several guys' spots that could have been taken.
There was an NXT guy tonight. Curtis Axel, he's on NXT now.
Yeah, it's Sin Cara.
Tyson Kidd comes in at 12. Has a little bit of offense for a little time, but got eliminated pretty quick. Stardust comes in at 13. Stardust does a little bit of offense on his own, and then we get another nice surprise at 14 with it's me, it's DDP.
And you know what? I feel like they wasted a perfect opportunity to bring Orton back here.
I cannot believe they
didn't bring
him back.
Because when they had DDP Diamond Cutter everybody, and he's standing alone, and the countdown's going, I'm like, dude, they're burning out Orton. And we're going to get the RKO versus the Diamond Cutter, and it's going to be awesome. And
that would have been a good moment.
And they brought out Rusev instead.
Yeah, that would have been a great moment. But DDP got a couple of Diamond Cutters on jobbers, and then he got one on Bray Wyatt even. Yeah. So that kind of surprised me. I figured he was going to go for it on Bray, and Bray would throw him out. But instead we get number 15, Rusev, who throws out DDP. And then at 16 we get Goldust. Little bit of they were saying there's a tease of a split between Goldust and Stardust, and there was a little bit of a turn. Stardust tried to throw Goldust out, but I don't know. I'm not convinced that they really fully turned on each other.
The thing is, they've been teasing it for weeks. If you watch their tag matches, every time they lose, it's because one guy hit the other guy by accident. Or, stupid mistakes that cost their partner the match. I mean, they're teasing the split. And as I said earlier in the show, I think we're going to get the 3 years too late Dust Brother battle at WrestleMania.
Yeah. Rumor is that Goldust is going to retire after WrestleMania to become a full-time agent with the WWE. So
yeah, Goldust shot that down, though, on Twitter over the weekend and tweeted out, I'm not retiring, LOL. So
he shouldn't, because
I don't think he should either. Man's looking good.
I was watching the I think it was the 2000 Royal Rumble the other day, and Goldust was in it there, and I'm like, wow, he is in so much better shape today than he was then when he was a drunken idiot.
Thanks to DDP Yoga, man.
17, we got Kofi Kingston. I think they're running out of ideas for Kofi Kingston to have
Kofi got booed.
Yeah, well,
because Kofi came out right after the Daniel Bryan elimination, and the crowd just wasn't having none of it.
Well, he's part of the New Day too, so that didn't help him either.
Dude, I don't think you could have put Hulk Hogan out at that number and he'd have gotten booed. That crowd was just ready to boo whoever was coming out next. Oh.
Yeah, Kofi, Daniel Bryan getting knocked out. Yeah, that just took the air out of the arena.
It did.
Right there.
And it did for like a minute. Like for a minute, that crowd died. And
Adam Rose,
and once they processed what happened, the shock and silence turned to anger and rage. And
Batista 2.0.
And they let them have it for the rest of that damn match. There was even a want refunds chant.
Yep.
When Reigns was fighting Big Show and Kane.
CM Punk chant came out there during the Rumble too.
Yeah, we haven't had one of those for a while.
That was a pretty heavy CM Punk chant too.
And I think the CM Punk chant has turned into not really a chant for CM Punk specifically.
Just to stick it to the WWE for being stupid?
I think it's more of a chant of, we're smarter than this and you're treating us like we're stupid, and we're not going to take this chant.
Yep.
And I really think that's what it's more about. It's more about a chant for change than it really is about CM Punk, the superstar. I think it was more about what CM Punk represented, and I think that's what the chant has turned into.
I mean, obviously it was for CM Punk to come back way down the line, but I mean, now the writing's on the wall. CM Punk's with the UFC for at least this year, at least this year and probably part of next year.
Dude, I don't think he's ever coming back.
Probably not. No, but
I see him stepping foot in a Ring of Honor ring before I see him stepping foot in a WWE ring again.
Yeah, it's definitely not looking good, but you never know. Ultimate Warrior came back, so
yeah, but you never know. Come back to wrestle. I'm not saying Punk can't go in the Hall of Fame 10 or 15 years down the line. But for him to actually step into a WWE ring and wrestle again, I don't see it. I
never say never. I don't think.
Well, no, you can never say never in the wrestling industry. But man, this is the closest to never that you can get.
Number 18 was Adam Rose, and his Rosebuds gave Kofi his Royal Rumble moment. Even though I think they're running out of ideas for Royal Rumble moments for Kofi.
They really are.
I mean, those last three were great.
And it sucks. Dude, I love Kofi, man. I love the New Day.
Yeah, I do too. I said that from the beginning.
I know. And I hate that the crowd hasn't gotten behind them at all. And
I think they're being phony. That's why.
Well, here's my man. The issue is so clear because everybody's like, we want to see new stars pushed. We want to see new talent rise to the top. But if it's not your new talent, and it's not the person you're hoping to get behind, like a Cesaro or a Daniel Bryan or something, all of a sudden this person isn't good enough for you, and he's getting pushed too early, or they don't deserve this push. And that's honest. That rubs me the wrong way. You can't have it both ways. If a young talent is getting a push, support that push, man. Don't freaking take a crap on it. Kofi, Big E, and Xavier are three extremely talented professional wrestlers. And for them to just be, looked down upon by the fans. And when they do that, Vince just sits in the back and goes, I told you they weren't over, pal. Yeah. And that's it. So they're just... WWE, honestly, sometimes the fans hurt themselves just as much as they help themselves.
I think overall... A New Day is going to be a lot better as a heel faction than they are as a face. Just because of what they kind of started with back with when Xavier Woods came in there and got in the face of both Big E and Kofi Kingston. I think that it's shown that there was some interest in that, but they dropped it. They went months without even following through on it. So I think that's just the purpose. What they're going to do is, make them so unlikable to the fact that they're gonna getting booed to the point to where they're gonna be the guys that turn into the heels because the crowd is sick of them.
Well, I'm totally okay with them turning them heel as long as it leads to them actually being pushed.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean that's the main problem. I mean if you're gonna turn them heel and turn them into a joke, then I don't even care.
Yeah. Next up in the entrance is old number 19 Roman Reigns. What do you have to say about that one, Matt?
They should have brought him out before Daniel Bryan got eliminated. Because I'm serious. Because as soon as his music hit, Philly goes, "Oh, there's the chosen one. Boo this man." And that's pretty much what it was. The crowd instantly knew when his music hit. Bryan was already gone. The crowd already knew who was winning the Royal Rumble. So honestly, if you wanted to bring Reigns in, Reigns should have had his entrance before Daniel Bryan was eliminated. And I'm not saying for Reigns to eliminate Bryan, because that could have been possibly even stupider than they already did. But Reigns should have been in the ring before Bryan was eliminated.
Yeah, I don't know. I think either way. Yeah, because once Bryan was eliminated, they obviously just completely...
Because there was no question at that point. With Bryan gone and Brock is the champion, you knew when Reigns came down that man was winning the Rumble.
Mm-hmm. Yep, that was basically the writing was on the wall there once, and Philly knew it, and they just continued to boo even heavier.
Yep.
Then followed by Reigns, we got more reason for Philly to boo. Big E from A New Day. And then a reason for the crowd.
Big E got some time in there, man.
He did. He had quite a long run in the Rumble this year.
Big E had a good showing this year. I was proud of Big E. I like that guy. He's a good dude. I met him in Access last year.
Yeah, he's definitely an interesting talker. So I think they need to give him the mic a little more. He's got a different little perspective on things, and so I think they need to kind of show that off a little more with Big E. Finally, at number 21, a chance for the crowd to enjoy something. Damien Mizdow comes out,
and they almost didn't let them enjoy that.
Yeah, exactly. The Miz comes out saying, "No, this is my spot. You're my stunt double." So Miz thought he was going to take a second chance at the Rumble, but obviously in the end, Miz gets knocked down to the floor, and Mizdow jumps into the ring, pulls off a couple of Miz moves, and then gets promptly thrown out.
Yeah. They didn't even give the Philly crowd enough time to appreciate the fact that Mizdow was in there doing some spots. They just, I know I keep saying this, but man, it's the damn truth. It felt like once Bryan was eliminated, it seemed like Vince was sitting in the back with this stupid troll grin on his face going, every single person that the internet cares about, bury them all. And it's because that's really what it felt like for the rest of the Rumble. It felt like everybody that the internet cared about was buried in the second half of that match.
Mm-hmm.
And man, it was really disheartening to watch. Like I couldn't believe it. I knew Reigns was going to win. Even when I put my pick in for Bryan this week, I knew Reigns. My mind said Reigns, but my heart said WWE is going to do me right this year, and Daniel Bryan's going to do this. Daniel Bryan's going to win, and just man.
Well, when Daniel Bryan got eliminated, I'm thinking, oh well, damn, my prediction of Ziggler might come true because we're waiting later on. Still no Ziggler yet. And we still don't have Dolph Ziggler yet. As we go to number 22, Jack Swagger. A good pop from the Philly crowd for Jack Swagger.
Which I was honestly surprised about, because as angry as that crowd was, Swagger had to feel pretty good about getting that little "We the People" pop. When he came out there.
Yeah, I think the smart wrestling fans, they know Swagger's got a little bit of talent. He needs a mouthpiece like Zeb Coulter because he's not a good talker, but they know the talent is there. He's been a world champion before. The We the People gimmick was great as a heel, and it was even better with a great face turn against Rusev. I think that was a great feud when he feuded with Rusev earlier this year. A perfect face turn because the crowd really popped when he turned face.
Yeah, no, it was good.
Number 23, Ryback, one of the possible winners. We could say that a guy that could possibly win the Rumble this year, but Ryback didn't really do much.
No, I thought they made him look like crap too. I mean, he wasn't even somebody I thought could win. But he's definitely, he's got the crowd behind him and he has the support. And it felt like they just took a rug under him and they just yanked it right out from under him tonight. And I honestly, I was left dumbfounded. Just with a lot of the booking decisions tonight just didn't make any sense. There's no way Pat Patterson put together this Rumble. I'll tell you that right now.
No. Vince had his hands on a lot of that stuff.
Pat was probably sitting there watching it going, what the fuck is this?
He's sitting at the old WWE writers pool right now, throwing himself in the pool. Number 24, we got a little bit of history. Kane comes in, and I don't know what the official tally is. I think it's 3 eliminations. He ties and surpasses HBK for the most eliminations ever. So he's either at 41 or 42. I'm not 100% sure what the final count was, but definitely one of the best Royal Rumble performers of all time in Kane.
And an honor he in no way deserves.
You don't think so?
No,
huh?
There's no way they should have taken that away from Shawn Michaels.
Well,
there's no freaking way. Not for freaking Kane.
Yeah.
Like 5 years from now, we're going to be talking about, that Kane.
Well, no, 5 years from now,
elimination record. Really?
5 years from now, Roman Reigns will have the record. So
I don't know, man. He'll probably be holding the title for the next 10 years.
That's true. That's why Triple H only had 8 appearances. So, number 26, we get. Can we call him an NXT guy too? Titus O'Neil.
We can call him out of the ring in 5 seconds. Honestly, I think
he
would have been out even quicker if they wouldn't have botched that double clothesline to take him out in the first place.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not sure if that was Titus's fault or if that was Reigns and Ambrose's fault, but it looked like he was meant to be one of those 1 second eliminations, and maybe he purposely botched just so he wasn't.
Yeah, well, he still wins the Santino Award for 2015. Santino Marella has the unique distinction of having the quickest elimination ever, and then also being the only multiple first eliminated in the Rumble.
He wasn't ready.
So, yeah.
He wasn't ready.
Those are 3 separate Rumbles, though, that he was eliminated first, and then the quickest elimination. So I think he had to have been ready on one of those 3 Rumbles. Where are we at now? 25. Now we're getting into the meat and potatoes. Actually, we skipped 25. 25 was Dean Ambrose. How can we skip that? That's my favorite wrestler today.
Can't skip Dean.
Yeah. Well, we skip
Dean, but it was sad because the crowd didn't even believe.
We had to make fun of Titus so much that we skipped Dean.
We did. That's right. We love making fun of Titus O'Neil, though. We can't help it.
I mean, you're looking at the late entries and you're thinking, okay, if Daniel Bryan's out, but there's still hope. There's still hope. Ryback's coming in at 23. Ambrose is in at 25. We skip ahead to Bad News Barrett at 27, a guy that I like a lot. Then we go to Cesaro at 28. We're thinking, wow, there's a bunch of guys sitting at the end of this.
Here's the problem. As soon as Cesaro came out at 28, I'm like, fuck, The Rock can't be in this thing. Because the whole time I was waiting for The Rock to come out and be in the Rumble, and as soon as Cesaro came out, I'm like, damn it, Ziggler and Big Show are left. I'm like, they're not letting The Rock's not going to be in the freaking Rumble.
Rock and Brock would have been fun.
Man,
if Brock re-signed. But
I would like Rock versus Brock so much more if the title wasn't on the line.
True, yeah.
I think something like that would have been amazing.
I mean, if Brock re-signs...
they can do it in Dallas next year.
If he resigns, they need to have him wrestle at least every month and at least make 2 appearances.
Well, if he's 2 appearances only if he's the champ. Only if he's the champ.
Yeah.
For as long as he's the champion, he should be on at least 1 Raw a month and on the pay-per-view. But if he ain't the champ, you can take months off. I don't care.
But,
that's WWE's fault. I mean, that's WWE's fault for giving him that contract to begin with.
Yeah.
And I know everybody's like, oh, I hate Lesnar takes the title and he goes and sits at home. I'm like, really? You hate Lesnar? How about you hate the old man who gave him that contract and that title to begin with? It ain't Brock's fault.
And Philly, the WWE World Heavyweight Championship hasn't been defended in 4 months, and the Philly crowd still gave him a huge ovation, bigger than Seth Rollins even. So, they are Philly smart. They're aware of the situation.
Do you think they turned Brock on Raw? Because I thought they did.
Oh, it looked like, I don't know.
Between the opening segment with him taking the mic from Paul and calling everybody baby, and coming out at the end of the show and just wrecking the Authority, I totally felt like at the end of Raw Monday Night, Brock Lesnar was a face.
Yeah.
And he didn't do it. He didn't do anything heel like tonight. And honestly, the bump where you're laid out for 10 minutes and you look like you're dead and you come in and win is a face move.
Oh yeah, the whole stretcher coming out.
Yeah,
put you on
that's a face move. That's not a heel move.
Exactly.
So yeah, I think Brock's a face right now. So and now he's gonna fight Roman Reigns.
Well, that's what. If Brock is a face, I think that's what. For me,
but do you close WrestleMania with a heel winning the title?
Well, I don't know. Reigns may not win it. I don't know. But
maybe Reigns wins it and Rollins cashes. Maybe
I don't know.
Does Reigns become the chosen one of the Authority before WrestleMania? And Rollins turns face, and Rollins cashes in on Reigns to end WrestleMania. I don't know. I don't know what they're thinking at this point.
Well, let's backpedal before we look ahead. Let's backpedal to number 29, The Big Show. We're like, oh, yeah.
Do we have to? Do we have to?
Big Show.
Oh, God, can we backpedal to 97 and make sure his career never happened? Can we do that?
Then we have hope. We have hope at number 30, Dolph Ziggler. My pick for the Royal Rumble.
And it was disgusting. I was disgusted. The way they treated him, I was more angry with that elimination than I was Bryan. Because at least Bryan was in there for a little bit. Ziggler comes out in 30 and is in there for like 2 minutes. And he does a couple quick spots, gets punched in the face, and gets tossed over the top rope like a sack of potatoes. And I'm just like, are you freaking kidding me? Did you guys learn nothing? I couldn't believe it. I was flabbergasted.
Yeah.
The way they treated some of the people. Because what they're booking these people in this way to tell you these guys aren't worth cheering. They're not important. Don't worry about Daniel Bryan. Don't worry about Dolph Ziggler. Don't worry about Dean Ambrose. Don't worry about Ryback. These guys aren't important. And if you keep telling people long enough that these guys aren't important, by the time you finally realize that it's time to give these guys the push, it might be too late.
Mm-hmm. Let's take a look at a quick look at the last 6 guys eliminated in the Rumble. The 23rd one to be eliminated. Obviously, we're not counting Curtis Axel because he didn't even enter the match, so we only have 28 people that got eliminated. Number 23 was Dolph Ziggler, of course. As we just mentioned, he had 2 eliminations, but they made him look pretty weak after the KO punch, and then Kane and Big Show just basically carried him out.
He was out so quick, I don't even remember who he eliminated.
Yeah, he eliminated Cesaro and Bad News Barrett.
Dude, I seriously did not even remember that. That's how bad he looked. I don't even remember him eliminating anybody.
Big Show and Kane teamed up for 3 straight eliminations, Bray Wyatt and then Dean Ambrose. And again, Big Show and Kane teaming up to eliminate 3 guys in a row, 3 guys that probably should have won the Royal Rumble. That's probably going to be the key turning point outside of Daniel Bryan's elimination of as to what the fuck happened at the Royal Rumble is you had Big Show and Kane eliminating 3 favorites.
And I've been saying this till I'm blue in the face. I don't give a damn about Kane, and I don't give a damn about the Big Show. Honestly, if they both retired tomorrow, and I never saw either guy step in the ring again, I wouldn't care. They've been turned face to heel, back and forth so many times. They've had so many gimmick changes that I'm just numb to these 2 characters.
Yeah.
Well,
they are the
don't
two.
Care about them anymore.
Yeah, they are definitely the two people that have turned heel and face the most times ever in a career, I think.
I would love someone to show me someone who's done it more, because I can't think of anybody.
And then, of course, Big Show and Kane, as we were talking about, they are the final two eliminated by Roman Reigns. And then, oh look, Rusev is still in the match.
Hey, don't forget about the Rock.
I was still to the point.
But the Rock came in before Rusev was ran back in.
No, I'm here. But let's back up. I was to the point in this Royal Rumble, because I forgot about Rusev. Did you forget about Rusev too, or not?
I kind of did, but I was seeing people tweet. I'm like, Rusev wasn't eliminated. And I started asking my friends, because we were having a Rumble party, and I was asking my friends in the room, I'm like, did Rusev get eliminated, or did he go off on the bottom rope? And everybody's like, oh, yeah, you're right. He go on the bottom rope. He's not out. And I'm like, okay. So Rusev's still in this thing. That's cool. And I was like, damn it. You know what? Rusev versus Brock, with Brock as a face, might have been one of the coolest, hard-hitting slugfest you might have ever seen at WrestleMania. So I was kind of feeling that. I'm like, man, can we get Rusev and Brock Lesnar? I'm like, this could be really cool. You know?
Hell, I was to the point where I even tweeted out when I thought I forgot about Rusev. I was to the point where, okay, I want Kane to win the Royal Rumble.
Oh no!
I want Kane to win the Royal Rumble instead of Roman Reigns.
Dude, you're lucky I didn't see that tweet, because I'd have went off on you earlier in the show, man. That is
Kane's never won a Royal Rumble, so
for good reason. Could you imagine? Could you imagine booking WrestleMania 31 around with Brock Lesnar versus Kane?
Yeah, I know.
I
just didn't want.
I wonder how many tickets would be on StubHub tomorrow. Yeah,
I got the replay of the Rumble going on right now. One of the greater signs in the crowd was the trolling Brock Lesnar face. That was a great one. It'd even been even better if they had like LOL spitting out of his mouth too. But that was one of the better signs. Another good sign was 2004 Never Forget. And I'm surprised. I thought somebody took that away, because I didn't see it for quite a while. But then it showed up at the end. Obviously, it's in reference to Chris Benoit winning the 2004 Royal Rumble, but yeah, honestly, they didn't take that.
Well, here's the problem: WWE doesn't remember their own history, so Vince was in the back and he couldn't remember what happened in 2004, so that's why the sign lasted.
He probably thought that was when 9/11 happened.
2004, what happened then? I don't even remember what happened last year. Daniel Bryan won the Rumble, right? Yeah.
Oh my God.
That's why he doesn't need to win it again.
Oh my God. All right, so Big Show and Kane get eliminated by Reigns. We think Reigns has won the Royal Rumble. And then all of a sudden, Rocky comes out to save the day with his cousin there.
I mean, I totally get what they were trying to do. I totally get it. They were hoping Rock's star power
would turn the crowd on.
Would help
in favor.
Would help, turn the favor for Reigns. And honestly, I think if they would have handled Bryan better, I think it might have worked.
Yeah, because, I mean, they still cheered Rock in the ring, but then he'd raise his hand and more boos would come down. So obviously it didn't work, but yeah, we definitely know what they were trying to do there.
You know what they should have done, and this is fantasy booking, but I'm throwing it out there. I'm freaking throwing it out there. Final five guys is like Bryan, Ambrose, Reigns, and you can keep your jabronis, Kane and Big Show out there. You have Triple H come out. And he comes out and he's taking off the tie and he's slamming down the suit and he's all angry that Bryan's still in the Rumble. And he gets in there and he eliminates Bryan himself. Mm-hmm. He takes care of Bryan. And, so Triple H is, he's all happy. He gets rid of Bryan. And Triple H, he leaves. He's going up the aisle. And then freaking Sting music hits. And Sting meets Triple H in the aisle and they brawl to the back.
Mm-hmm.
And that would have had the crowd hot because they would have instantly forgot about the Bryan elimination because Sting was out there kicking Triple H's ass. And then at that point, they could have done some quick eliminations. They could have done the same finish, let Reigns win. And I don't think it would have given the crowd enough time to process the hatred that they had the entire second half of the Rumble to get to. And I think they could have done it a lot better than they did.
Imagine this. Imagine this. Rock gives Reigns the rock bottom.
I was waiting for it.
Throws him over the top rope.
I was waiting for it. I was waiting for the Rock to turn on Reigns.
That would have been phenomenal.
Like I was looking for the Rock bottom. I was like, what's their angle here? Are they gonna Rock bottom him?
That'd be a WrestleMania match right there, Rock and Reigns.
Well, the only thing that would have been bigger is if Reigns would have turned on Rock.
Yeah.
Like when the Authority came out, and they're standing in the aisle, and Rock's looking at the Authority, he turns around and gets speared from Reigns. That would have been a shocker. Then you would have had the face Brock Lesnar against the Authority, Roman Reigns going into Mania, with Seth Rollins going, what about me?
Yeah.
You know, why in the hell is Reigns with us now? You know, and you build up the idea of Seth getting angry and pissed off that Reigns is now the, as Triple H are called, the future of the WWE, and it's not Rollins anymore. And, you know, you build the turn for Rollins to turn face going into WrestleMania. Anything would have been better than what they gave us.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
honestly, we're just sitting here talking about it, dude. We're just bullshitting, you know. And in a couple minutes, we came up with like 4 or 5 better alternatives than what they gave us, and they had months to figure this out.
Exactly. And Roman Reigns wins from spot number 19, the second man ever to win from spot number 19, as John Cena did it 2 years ago in 2013. The only spot that had a chance to tie 27 with the most wins would have been 24. I can't even remember who was 24.
It was right before Dean.
Yeah. 24 was Kane. Your favorite buddy there. Yeah. So Roman Reigns joins John Cena, surprisingly.
Don't get me wrong. I'm sure Kane's a great dude. You know, and he's probably a great person to hang out with, and he's probably super liked by everybody in the locker room. But, man, I'm just so sick of Kane.
Yeah.
I'm just so sick of Kane.
Well, where do we wrap up our first ever Lost in the Midcard podcast? Where do we end up? Where do we go from here? We got Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns for the title,
and it looks like if you look at Fallout, it looks like Cena versus Rusev at Mania.
Is there any wiggle room to edit that title match for a second straight year?
Well, you didn't think there was any last year, and it happened. So, I mean, there's a chance. I mean, there's always a chance. What do you do with Bryan now? Like all the main event players have been locked in. It seems like all the main event players are locked in now.
Yeah,
because you got Roman and Brock, you got Cena and Rusev. You're probably getting Bray and the Undertaker. So
yeah.
Where does that leave Daniel Bryan? Who is Daniel Bryan? Is he face Seth Rollins? Not that I mind it. I'm sure the match would be amazing, but I mean, I don't think that does either of those guys any favors going into WrestleMania.
What if Adrian Neville debuts in the WWE and goes after Daniel Bryan right away? No. Imagine the type of match those two would put on.
No, you don't bring Neville in as a heel right off the bat. His moveset is not heel defined.
He's been playing a pretty good heel facing Sami Zayn lately, though.
But that's the problem. He wasn't even really a heel. It was just the crowd was so into Sami that anybody.
He did some shady things, so he did some heel things.
But he did them to keep his title.
Yeah.
You know, and I mean, at no point besides, you know, points to keep his title did he really do anything that was really heelish or, you know, underhanded. You know, he was just a champion that was desperate to keep his championship.
My gut guess for Daniel Bryan at WrestleMania is going to be, I think, Sheamus. I think they're gonna
force feed us what we didn't want last year again.
I think they're gonna, you know, the best way to turn Sheamus heel is to have him turn on the most liked guy in the WWE universe, which is Daniel Bryan. So, yeah, that's kind of my gut right now.
If they wanted to do that, they could have brought him back tonight.
Yeah. Well, I'm fine with,
and he could have eliminated Daniel Bryan.
I'm fine with keeping Bryan out of the title picture this year now.
What do you do with Orton?
Yeah, I don't know. That too. I mean, I'm surprised he didn't come back.
And does Orton? What if Orton fights Rollins? Where does that leave Daniel Bryan?
Yeah,
because I'm just not feeling Daniel Bryan versus Sheamus. And what do you do with Dean?
We probably are going to get
so many people like.
We're probably going to get a big stupid tag team match of the Authority against like Dean, Dolph, Bryan, Orton. I have a feeling we're going to just get a big fat 8-man tag or something like that.
Hot damn!
I just have this gut feeling that
what a waste.
For all these guys,
what a waste of
I don't know.
Talents, man.
That's
those talents.
We got 2 months to sort all that out, and within those 2 months, you'll hear a lot of bitching between me and Matt of what's going on with the WWE.
Where is Raw tomorrow night? Where are they?
Oh, I hope it's in Pittsburgh. Let me look.
Oh, that would be something else. Because, I mean, Philly's crowd was already unhappy. Dude, I was at the Royal Rumble last year. I was in the crowd at Pittsburgh when the entire crowd turned on the company. It was one of the most surreal experiences I've ever been a part of.
Looks like Hartford, Connecticut.
Oh, jeez. I don't know. I really don't consider the Hartford, Connecticut to be the group base of rebels. They're going to help turn the tide of the WWE universe on the road to WrestleMania.
This would have been a perfect Raw to be at Madison Square Garden.
New York, Chicago, Pittsburgh, anywhere but Hartford, Connecticut.
Hartford, Connecticut's going to be like, They'll probably cheer Reigns tomorrow. Or they'll start piping in crowd noise, just like they do on SmackDown. Well, that is going to do it for our very first Lost in the Midcard podcast. Hope you enjoyed the show. Matt, do you have anything to pimp? Twitter? Any projects? Anything going on?
And if you want to follow me on Twitter, it's RAWF Showtime. Just doing some stuff for WWEGamesUniverse.com. It's a community site for fans of the WWE video game franchise. It's coming together slowly but surely. It's pretty fun. If you're a fan, come talk about the franchises with everybody there. Nothing really else to pimp or anything. It just, man, I don't even know.
What a boner killer,
dude! It really is, man. I feel the same way now that I felt last year at the end of the Royal Rumble.
But they fixed it.
And they did. But they only fixed it because their shows were being sabotaged. So here, you know what? You want me to pimp something here? So here's my pimping plea to everybody listening to Lost in the Midcard in the entire WWE universe. If you want change, be vocal about it. And I'm not talking about being vocal on social media and stuff like that, because that doesn't really mean anything and they don't care. You're going to have to be vocal at the shows that you're going to, and you're going to have to be vocal with your wallet. Because those are the only two things that WWE are going to listen to. So if you truly want to impact change in the company, speak with your wallet and speak with your voice at the shows. And other than that, there's really nothing you can do.
I'm very curious to see how many WWE Network subscriptions got dropped.
I know. Well, obviously, that Stone Cold podcast with Triple H was done to keep people from canceling. Coming at the beginning of February, but I would honestly be very curious, with the commitment gone, to know how many subs were canceled tonight after that show.
Yep, exactly. Well, that'll do it for this week. We are going to come to you each and every Monday morning with the goings on for the past week of wrestling. We'll also talk some TNA, maybe even a little Lucha Underground down the road as well. We will talk about the week that went, and also look ahead to Monday Night Raw coming on later that day. And for myself, you can find me on Twitter at JBHuskers, and also you can find me. I do a little wrestling writing, about 6 to 8 articles a month on What Culture. You can go to whatculture.com/author/Jeremy-Bennett, and you'll be able to see my whole list of articles. I'm going to have one up on Tuesday, pointing out 10 key moments in the Royal Rumble match, which will probably bring a lot of size to Matt's face there.
When are you going to write the top 10 reasons WWE has ruined the road to WrestleMania?
That could be coming soon, and that'll probably get a lot of views.
It probably would. I'm telling you, go for it.
For Matt, this is Jeremy. Thanks for tuning in to our very first episode, and hopefully we'll catch you next